What's up, my dudes? We in the full setup today, boys. So you guys have been seeing this whole new thing with, the whole NASCAR iRacing. You got Kyle Busch, you got Junior in there racing on the, basically it's just a video game, right? It's a simulator. They're in there on iRacing doing the full-blown, racing NASCAR. They've got the full setup, multiple screens. They've got the full steering wheel. They got the gas pedal, brake pedal. They got, a lot of them dudes had the full setup, right? So, in the wake of everything that's been happening in the world right now, that's why they've been doing that, right? So it's sort of sparked this whole little interest in, oh wow, couldn't these different like racing, real life racing sports just go to a simulator and then race everything online, right? And so everybody can be in their own home, wherever they want to be, and still participate in the racing events, right? Well, a lot of people would think, hey, couldn't you just do that with Supercross? Couldn't you just do that with motocross? Like, how would that be doing that, with professional AMA Supercross racing? Well, there's already the perfect game out there for that called MX Simulator, okay? This game's been around since 2007, all right? It is literally the most perfect game there could ever be for this kind of a thing. I mean, the most perfect game. Like, there's no other motocross game out there that is more like a real-life riding dirt bike as far as the, physics on the bike, filling on the bike. It takes you years to master this game, literally years. I mean, it's the full thing. It's as perfect as you could have a, dirt bike simulator in a video game. It's literally just real-life Supercross, real-life motocross in a virtual world. That's literally what MX Simulator is. You can put any kind of, bike graphic. You can put any kind of gear, your own custom helmets, anything, right? Like, kind of how on the iRacing, they've been able to go in there and put in, like, everybody's sponsors, and even, like, some of the not-so-top dudes can put their sponsors on the cars and everything and get it real legit, get it real professional looking, right? You can do that with MX Simulator. You can put anything in the game as far as logos, bike graphics, gear design graphics, anything like that. Tough blocks on the tracks, sponsors, banners, all that kind of stuff. You can put anything in the game, right? So it's already perfectly set up for real-life sponsors to really come in and support it. And basically with MX Simulator, we've actually been pro racing in this game for the past 10 years, okay? We've been riding on every single replica Supercross track, replica motocross track, replica GP track, every single one of them since 2010. We've been riding on every single replica. They've been doing full-blown pro racing with money prizes on the line. I mean, it's already set up for this thing, man. And there's actually quite a few real-life pro racers that pro race on MX Simulator. Jerry Robin, you got quite a few of them out there. Logan Leitzel, he just got into the pros. You got quite a few dudes that have raced in this game over the years. And so there's already a few of them, but what I'm talking about really is like being able to pull, Tomac and Roxon and some of these bigger title sponsors and, making it more like top-level official Supercross racing in a simulator, which it just hasn't really been able to get to that point, and there's quite a few different reasons for that. Even though it's the most perfect game for it, literally the most perfect setup, everything, the base of the game, the physics, the filling on the bike, the difficulty, everything like that is perfect on MX Simulator to have that full-blown, professional Supercross racing in a video game, right? But there's quite a few other issues with the game around the gameplay that sort of restricts it from being that, right? And it's these things have kind of haunted the game forever, and it's just certain things that just hold it back, I feel like, from really being able to become that full-blown, like this whole NASCAR iRacing and all these top NASCAR dudes hopping on there and racing on it and getting deep into it and all that. Like, you know, you're thinking in your head, like, well, crap, why doesn't MX Simulator have, like, you know, Tomac getting really deep into it, or Barsha getting deep into the game just to learn the new replica tracks of the new Supercross rounds before they come out. Like, these are all the things that you just, you know, you sort of question when you see a game like this. Why are not a lot of the pro motocross and Supercross dudes really getting into MX Simulator and, you know, running the pro race on MX Simulator before they run it in real life? It's a simulator. Like, this is not like some crazy idea. I mean, there's a lot of these racing, especially in the car racing realm, that ride in simulators and practice in simulators and train in simulators before they go do the real thing. You think, why wouldn't they do that on MX Simulator? Well, there's a lot of things holding it back. There's a lot of issues with this game. Not the gameplay side of it, right? But when you talk about the professional racing in the game, the professional racing organization in the game, everything that the professional racing has went through over the years, it's just nowhere even close to being professional enough to have a Tomac or a Roxon or really having like Monster Energy sponsorships. It's not even close to that level and realm of professionalism in the pro racing of the game. Right? Just for instance, they allow you to ride in third person in the pro races of this game. Think about how insane that is. You can race in third person on this motocross simulator, right? So let me just give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So you can come in here and pro race in this game in this kind of a view right here. I mean, think about how insane that is. You don't see any of those, you know, iRacing NASCAR pro dudes riding in third person, driving the car in third person. They're all full-blown simulator, multi-screen setup inside the cockpit. A lot of you dudes are going to have to give up this third-person idea for pro racing on MX Simulator because it's never going to get to that professional level if you don't start forcing first person. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it. And allowing us to actually turn our head in the game a little bit, like you can in real life, right? There's a few of these things that just have to happen before this is ever going to be like a really legit, you know, actual full-blown simulator that a lot of the top professional guys can come race in. There's so many things that have to happen in this game before that can even happen, right? And this is one of the biggest things I've been fighting for, been voicing my opinion on forever. A lot of these different things over the years, but there's these people that get caught up in, they look at it like it's just a video game and it's not trying to be like real life or like a simulator. You know, all those people that are really defending third person, or, you know, they don't get too upset when somebody gets caught cheating in the game. They think that's just okay. You know, all these other little things. If you're going to make this game something big, if you're going to take it to that next level, if you're going to make it really serious to the point to where you can actually have a Tomac or a Roxon or a, you know, Villapoto come race in the game, you're going to have to do these things that I'm talking about. It's not even a question. It's not even a, well, maybe they could get away with not doing some of those. No, you have to do these things. You have to force first person only in the pro racing. You have to do it. You have to get more sturdy with your bans and your perma bans when people get caught cheating in the game, aka Rush Chapman, the dude that was just leading the 450 Supercross points in this game just this past year, right? He gets caught key sharing, having somebody else ride for him in a pro race, right? He's been caught fixing races, been caught doing everything you can imagine, and they just let him back in. They'll ban him for maybe a year and then let him back in. Do you really think Tomac or Roxon or any of those top dudes are going to want to come in here and pro race on a simulator that you just let the cheaters back in on? Do you really think so, RF? You're going to have to start hammering down if you ever want this game to become something. You're going to have to start doing something. This game's been around since '07. You've been pro racing since 2010. Why the hell is this game not on the level of the iRacing NASCAR game, bringing in all the top professionals? Why is it not to that level? You have to start asking yourself that, RF. Why is this game not to that level? Oh, maybe because you let all the cheaters back in? Did you ever think about that? Maybe because you don't force first person? Maybe because you allow spotting? I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe because you don't make your tracks visually as good as they could look because you're so worried about a road in the game? I don't know. That's another thing. Like, if you don't start making your actual replica Supercross tracks at least on the level of this Nicholas Sandbox Supercross track, it's never going to become that, like, big, motocross simulator that brings in all these top professionals. It's never going to get to that point if you don't start making tracks like this. Start putting in more high-res decals. Could you imagine? I could only imagine the opinions that Roczen and Tomac would have getting on here, especially the past 2 years that they've been running the terrain deformation, the erode in the game, right? I could only imagine the opinions that Tomac would have with that singular one motocross berm, janky-ass berm rut coming out of the Supercross corner, literally flat tracking on the motocross tracks. They would think this game is a joke, RF, with the kind of a road you've been running in this game and the lack of pre-made that you've been running in this game for the past 2 years, ever since you started doing a road in the game. They would literally laugh out loud at how nowhere near similar this game's erode terrain deformation is to real life, rut deformation. They would laugh at it, dog. They would literally laugh at it. Just telling you. So that's another thing you would have to fix. You'd have to either take it completely out of the game or completely overhaul, rework it, have cushion to the game 10 times over. You'd have to do something to get it to that point. But either way, there's just a few things, the professionalism. There's no way that RF would be professional enough to do this with a Tomac or a Roczen or a, really like a full-blown. It would have to be AMA themselves. AMA would have to come in and actually, start up their own series and their own, rules and everything like that and make it actually a professional racing series in the game. You would have to do that for it to ever work, because the professional racing series in this game right now, it's in the roughest state I think I've ever seen it, man. It's just in a weird place, dude. That's the only way to explain it. Very, very weird place. It's just they don't treat it as professionally as they should. They don't treat it as seriously as they should. So let me give you a couple more examples here of what I'm talking about, okay? So just picture this, right? The track makers, okay, the RF track makers of MX Simulator, the guys going in there designing all of the replica tracks, actually participate in the pro races. Just imagine that, dog. So they go in there, spend however many 2, 3, 4 days making the track, right? And then everybody else that's racing only gets 45 minutes to qualify on the track. That would be like Tomac going in there and designing the whole entire track, making the jump peaks like he wants them, everything like that, seeing the track for multiple days ahead of time, riding on it as much as he wants to, and then all of a sudden going in there and racing with everybody else that's just seeing it for the first time. RF, what are you doing? This is not going to fly, dog. And then this whole side of, you got all your people in RF that are actually dictating the protest and the suspensions and the bans and all that, also actually participate in the races. That would be like having Roczen be able to completely dictate everything that goes on with who gets suspended, who gets docked positions. I mean, just think about how insane that would be. That's exactly what you're doing right now, RF. That is exactly what you're doing, bro. You really think this shit's gonna fly with a real Tomac and a Roczen playing this game? Dude, you boys have been getting away with so much crap over the years. I swear. I have never seen a professional gaming organization, or hell, any professional organization for that matter, that has ever gotten away with what you get away with. you have got such a police corruption syndrome going on where you think that, oh, you're the professional racing organization in MX Simulator. You don't really have any competition, so you get this sort of big man mentality, like you can just get away with anything. You can just do anything. Any of the RF track makers can do anything they want, get away with anything they want, be as unprofessional as they want. Anybody on RF can get away with anything that they want because they're the only real professional racing organization in MX Simulator. So they just think they can get away with anything. It's only hurting yourself, RF. I hope you realize that. All these unprofessionalism things that you've been doing over the years, it's only hurting yourself. It's only holding you back from becoming this top game that brings in all these, top motocross, supercross professionals. You're only hurting yourself. How the hell do you not realize that? Like, oh my God, bro. You obviously don't understand what that looks like from the outside. The RF track makers participating in the RF events, the dudes that are dictating the protest also participating in the RF events. Don't you think that's kind of a little bit of a conflict of interest? RF, just a little bit? It's kind of like gambling at your own casino, right? Nobody else does this in professional racing series. Nobody else does it. That'd be like if John Gallagher was actually fast enough to professionally race, and he also raced with, dictating every single protest, every single suspension, but he also went in there and raced with everybody. Not that you would have any issues at all with that happening. No, definitely not. No bias, towards anybody or anything. No, for sure not. Like, bro, RF. See, this is just some of the examples of some of the things that RF does that it's just like, it's never, ever going to be that game. It's never going to be that game. By the way, that was cute, RF, when the Supercross race that got put on Racer X, you had to get all professional all of a sudden. Oh, no, we're actually getting seen by Racer X. You started enforcing your name rule all of a sudden. Start actually enforcing that. You try to get all professional all of a sudden to make yourself look good. Why weren't you doing that in all the other normal races? Not just the one that was put on Racer X, huh? Why wasn't you doing that on all the other races? You all of a sudden got to get professional because the spotlight's on you? Man, if these people actually seen what's been going down in RF for the past 3 or 4 years, there ain't a fucking soul, actual real top professional would want to race on this. Nobody would. It's full of cheater, scammer. You've got so many things that's killing the potential of this game. It's not even funny, dude. You've got so many things doing that. So, until you actually want to really start taking the professional racing seriously in this game and actually permabanning people that cheat in this game, aka Rush Chapman, until you want to start doing that, and until you want to start going in here and actually making proper graphical design tracks that are actually on the next level in stadiums that are on the next level like this, and actually having, consistent tracks of 1 year, I don't even know what you're doing nowadays. Like, oh man, it's just sad to see because this game has all the potential in the world, but it's just nowhere near got the backing behind it. It's nowhere near got the right people in the right places to really take it to that next level, And that's what I mean by AMA themselves would have to come in and just take it over, right? They would have to. That's the only way I could see it ever really working like that. So, either way, maybe one day we'll see it, but I don't know, dudes. It's tough. It's like this game wants to be that thing so bad, but there's so many things holding it back. Like they allow third person in the pro racing. They allow spotting in the pro racing, which is not a thing in real life. Yeah, it's a thing in real life NASCAR. That's why you saw the spotting in the NASCAR iRaces, but it's not a real thing in real life Supercross. There is no spotting. They're not sitting there talking to them in a microphone in real life, right? So the fact that you can do that in MX Simulator and you can ride it completely in third person in a pro race where you can see all around you, not realistic whatsoever. See what I'm saying by all these things that are holding this game back? Some of you dudes need to realize Are you trying to really make this game that full-blown dirt bike racing simulator? Is that what you're trying to do? Are you trying to just stay in this old school, you know, MX Simulator third person, allow everything, let the cheaters back in kind of game forever? I mean, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to really like pull in Tomac and Roxon and official sponsors? Or are you just trying to sit back and be this mediocre, mellow, underground game that nobody really knows about? What are you trying to do? Like, I don't know, man. And then it gets into, you know, being able to have the actual full-blown handlebars set up, right? And then, you know, the multi-screen setup, handlebar for the steering. You know, there's so many more levels this could go. But before any of that happens, you've got to have actual professionalism in the pro racing. You've got to have an actual group of people that's not going to just go in there and cuss somebody out in chat or act silly. Like there's no professionalism in the racing of this game. In the professional racing of this game. It's just non-existent. It's just like they don't care anymore. It just doesn't matter what you do anymore. So until they start getting all that, we're just stuck with this game that has the potential to be that legendary, you know, full-blown simulator that all the professional Supercross racers participate in. It's got the potential for that, but you can't be doing it with the bullshit that you're doing right now, RF. You can't be doing it. All this like, oh, wow, qualifying didn't even upload to the website, so we got to do qualifying for another 30 minutes. Oh, wow, we're going to let Rush Chapman back in a year later after he got caught cheating. Oh, wow, there's not even any cheat in this game. Oh, wow. There's so many things, dog. So many things. Why do you think I fight so hard against allowing third person in pro racing? Why do you think I fight so hard against people that actually get caught cheating in the pro racing of a paid series? Why do you think I get so upset about that? Because you're literally killing the entire potential of MX Simulator of ever being that game that's going to bring in Tomac and Roxon and all these dudes and all these big sponsors. You're killing that. Like, damn, you boys are going to have to grow up. You're going to have to get this shit going, get this professional, or it's never going to be. You might as well forget about it. You're going to have to get your crap together with the road and stop, oh, I'm just a road beta testing on MX Simulator. You're going to have to figure that shit out, dog, or we're never going to get anywhere. Either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Don't get mad at me for speaking the truth. Don't get mad at me because you know what I'm saying is true.